Trust the process. It's easy to say, isn't it? But let's be honest. How often do you actually do it? Most of us are caught in a constant tug-of-war with life, desperately trying to control outcomes, fix what's broken, or predict the future. And here's the shocking truth. The harder you try to grip onto life, the more it slips away. But what if I told you the real secret isn't control? It's surrender. Sounds counterintuitive, right? You're probably thinking, how can letting go be the solution? But that's exactly what ancient Hindu philosophy teaches us. And no, it's not about giving up or being passive. It's about aligning with a flow that's bigger than you, a force that's been quietly shaping the universe for millennia. So here's the deal. If you're tired of fighting against the current, feeling stuck, or constantly questioning why life isn't going your way, this could change everything. Stick around, because by the end of this, you'll see how surrendering, not struggling, might be the most powerful move you've ever made. Lesson 1. Acceptance of life cycles. Have you ever felt like life is just one big loop? Like no matter how much you try to control, things fall apart, only to come together again in a way you never expected? What if I told you, this isn't a flaw, but the design of the universe itself? In the Hindu worldview, life flows in cycles: creation, preservation, destruction. It's called the Trimurti, and it's everywhere around us. Think about it. The seasons change, the sun rises and sets. Even the cells in your body are constantly regenerating and breaking down. Nothing stays static, and that's the beauty of it. But let me ask you this. Why do we fight it? Why do we resist change when it's as natural as breathing? Maybe it's because we've been taught to fear endings, to cling to permanence. Yet, the Hindu philosophy shows us a different way. Take Brahma, the creator. His role isn't just about beginnings. It's about planting seeds that may take years, even lifetimes, to bear fruit. Then comes Vishnu, the preserver, holding everything together, but not forever. Because eventually, Shiva, the transformer, steps in, not to destroy for the sake of chaos, but to make room for something new. Can you see the poetry in that? Here's where it gets personal. What's ending in your life right now? What's falling apart, unraveling, or slipping through your fingers? Instead of resisting, what if you saw it as part of this grand cycle, your own Trimurti unfolding? If the universe doesn't resist its flow, why should you? And here's the real hook. What happens when you let go of resistance? Could you actually gain more control, not by force, but by alignment with this natural rhythm? Stick around, because the next point will challenge everything you thought you knew about karma and choice. Lesson 2. Karma and personal responsibility. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to radiate a sense of peace, no matter what chaos surrounds them? What if I told you the secret lies in one ancient concept, karma? But here's the twist. It's not just about good deeds bring good things or bad deeds bring bad things. It's much deeper than that. Karma is about the choices you make, the intentions you set, and the ripples you create in the vast ocean of existence. Think about it. Every action you take is like dropping a pebble into water. The ripples spread outward, touching everything, shaping the world around you. But here's the question. Are you even aware of the ripples you're creating? Are you acting consciously, or are you just reacting to life on autopilot? In the Hindu philosophy, karma isn't about punishment or reward. It's about balance. It's a law of cause and effect, a constant reminder that your choices define not just your present, but your future. And here's the kicker. You're not a victim of karma. You're its creator. You hold the power to rewrite your path with every decision you make. Powerful, isn't it? But let's be honest, it's easier said than done. How often do we get caught up in anger, fear, or jealousy, letting those emotions dictate our actions? And then, when life feels out of control, we wonder, why is this happening to me? The truth is, life isn't happening to you. It's responding to you. Every thought, every word, every action, everything you put out there shapes the reality that comes back to you. So here's a challenge for you. What if, just for today, you acted with intention? What if every choice you made came from a place of awareness and alignment with your values? What kind of ripples would you create then? Stick around, because what we're about to explore next will change the way you see your role in this intricate dance of cause and effect. Lesson 3. Dharma, living with purpose. Have you ever stopped to think about your purpose? Not just the big, lofty goals, but the everyday actions that define who you are and why you're here. What if I told you that there's a word for this in ancient Hindu philosophy, dharma, and it holds the key to unlocking a life of balance and meaning? Dharma isn't just about what you do. It's about the role you play in the grand, interconnected web of existence. Imagine the universe as a giant orchestra where every instrument, every person, has a unique part to play. Now, here's the question. Are you in tune, or are you creating noise? Think about the sun. It rises every day, lighting the world without hesitation or question. That's its dharma, its duty. But what about you? Are you living in alignment with your purpose, or are you chasing someone else's tune? And how do you even know what your dharma is in a world that's constantly pulling you in a million directions? The beauty of dharma is that it's not one size fits all. For some, it's about nurturing others like a parent raising a child. For others, it's creating, protecting, teaching, or learning. It's not about comparison or competition. It's about finding the rhythm that feels right for you. And here's where it gets tricky. What happens when you ignore that rhythm? Have you ever felt that restlessness, that nagging sense that something's missing, even when everything seems fine? That's the universe whispering, or maybe shouting, that you're out of alignment. But here's the good news. Dharma isn't rigid. It evolves as you evolve. Maybe your purpose today is different from what it was 5 years ago, or what it will be 5 years from now. And that's okay. The question is, are you listening? Are you paying attention to the signs, the opportunities, the quiet nudges that guide you back to your path? So, what would happen if you fully embraced your dharma? No resistance, no distractions, just pure alignment. How would that change the way you move through the world? Stick with me, because we're about to explore how ancient wisdom can help you uncover and live your unique purpose, starting with something as simple as awareness. Lesson 4. Living in harmony with nature. Have you ever watched a river flow? It doesn't fight the rocks in its path. It doesn't resist the bends or twists. It simply moves, finding its way, carrying life wherever it goes. Now imagine if we lived our lives like that, accepting what comes, letting go of what doesn't serve us, and flowing with nature. This is the essence of living in alignment with the natural world, a core teaching in Hindu philosophy. But let's pause for a moment. How often do we actually resist the flow of life? Think about it. We try to control outcomes, cling to what feels familiar, or fight against changes that seem uncomfortable. And yet, isn't it true that the most profound peace comes when we surrender to what simply is? So, here's the question. What would happen if you let go? If you stopped fighting and started trusting? In Hinduism, the natural world isn't separate from us. It's a reflection of us. The seasons, the sunrise, the tides, they all move in harmony, effortlessly balancing creation and destruction. And we're meant to do the same. Imagine the trees that shed their leaves without hesitation, or the rain that falls without asking where it's needed most. There's a lesson in that simplicity, isn't there? But living in harmony with nature doesn't mean passivity. It's about awareness, choosing actions that align with the rhythm of life rather than forcing against it. Think of the great rivers of India, Ganga, Yamuna, Sarasvati. These rivers are more than water. They are symbols of flow, purification, and renewal. What if we saw our lives the same way? Here's a challenge for you. The next time you face resistance, whether it's an unexpected detour, a missed opportunity, or even a difficult relationship, ask yourself, what's the lesson here? How can I move with this instead of against it? Because when you embrace the flow, you become unstoppable, not through force, but through harmony. And speaking of harmony, the next idea will take us deeper into the power of intentional living, where every choice becomes a ripple in the vast ocean of existence. Stay with me. Lesson 5. The power of gratitude. Have you ever thought about what it means to truly give thanks? Not the casual thank you we toss around, but a deep, heartfelt gratitude that shifts the way you see the world. What if I told you this simple practice is one of the most powerful teachings of ancient Hinduism? And here's the catch. It's not just about saying thank you, it's about living it. Gratitude in Hindu philosophy isn't a one-time act. It's a state of being. Think about it. The sun rises every morning, the rivers flow, the trees bear fruit, all without expecting anything in return. Have you ever paused to wonder, what would happen if we lived like that? What if gratitude became the lens through which we viewed everything, every challenge, every blessing, every breath? But here's the paradox. Why is it so hard to feel grateful sometimes? Maybe it's because we get caught up in what's missing, what we don't have, or what's gone wrong. The ancient Hindus understood this too, which is why they introduced rituals of thanksgiving, not to please the gods, but to remind themselves of the abundance already present. Take the act of offering flowers, food, or even a simple diya to the divine. It's not about the offering itself. It's about the intention behind it. Imagine this. You light a diya and place it on a river. As it floats away, so do your complaints, your doubts, your fears. In that moment, all that's left is gratitude for the river, for the flame, for the moment. What if you could carry that feeling into every part of your life? Here's a question for you. When was the last time you stopped to truly appreciate the little things? The smile of a loved one, the sound of the rain, or even the challenges that shaped you into who you are today. Because here's the truth. Gratitude isn't just about what's good. It's about finding meaning in everything. And if you think gratitude is powerful, wait until you discover the next principle, an idea so profound it can transform not only how you see the world, but how the world sees you. Stay with me. Lesson 6. Trusting the process. Have you ever felt like the harder you try to control everything, the more things slip through your fingers? It's like holding on to sand. The tighter your grip, the faster it falls away. But what if I told you there's an ancient wisdom that flips this mindset on its head? It's not about controlling the chaos. It's about trusting the process. In Hindu philosophy, there's a deep reverence for the unknown, for the unseen forces that guide us. Think about it. The sun doesn't rush to rise. The rain doesn't beg to fall. Everything happens in its own time, in its own rhythm. But here's the question. Why can't we do the same? Why do we feel the need to force answers, to push outcomes, instead of allowing life to unfold? Here's where it gets profound. Surrender isn't about giving up. It's about aligning with the flow. It's about recognizing that you're not the sole architect of your life. Call it karma, call it divine will, call it the universe. There's a greater force at play. And when you trust it, something incredible happens. But let's be real. Trusting the process is easier said than done, right? Especially when things fall apart, when plans fail, when uncertainty feels unbearable. It's in those moments that Hindu teachings remind us what feels like chaos is often the beginning of creation. Think of the lotus flower. It blooms from the mud, not in spite of it, but because of it. So, what if you stopped fighting the mud in your life? What if, instead of resisting, you embraced it, trusting that something beautiful is on the other side? It's a shift in perspective that can transform how you see everything, from your failures to your triumphs. And here's a thought. The next time you're faced with a roadblock, ask yourself, what if this isn't an obstacle? What if it's a step, a necessary part of the path you're meant to walk? Stick with me, because what comes next will show you how to walk that path with purpose and grace. So, what's stopping you? You've just uncovered ancient wisdom that has the power to transform your life, not in theory, but in practice. The question is, will you use it? Will you trust the process, let go of control, and align with the flow of life? Or will you keep repeating the same patterns, expecting different results? Imagine waking up each day with clarity, purpose, and peace. Not because life is perfect, but because you've learned to dance with its rhythm. What could your life look like if you truly embrace these principles? And more importantly, who could you become? I want to hear from you. What part of today's lesson resonated the most with you? Which principle are you ready to apply starting now? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to read your thoughts. If you found value in this, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. This is just the beginning of a journey into timeless wisdom, and you won't want to miss what's coming next. And for those of you ready to dive even deeper, I highly recommend Bhagavad Gita. It's one of the most profound texts in Hindu philosophy, filled with practical lessons on living with purpose and peace. The best part, you can get it super cheap on Amazon. The link is in the first pinned comment. Grab your copy and take this journey further.